Buenos días chicos o buenas tardes para la hora 6. Hoy es la clase número 17 de Español 2. Vamos a ver, hoy vamos a trabajar con 3 partes del vocabulario. So you want to go back into this document that you saved a few classes ago. And we are going to work with the 3 sections that I've circled in red here. At the very top, to talk about shopping. We're going to use some of these other useful words when we talk about some conversations. And then a few of these expresiones at the very bottom on the last column. So go ahead and make sure you have your lista de vocabulario and have those words available to you as we do our actividades hoy. Okay, let's start and imagine that we are going shopping. Vamos de compras en Uruguay. En Uruguay, ellos usan pesos. Not the same pesos as they have in Mexico, but they also call them pesos. Bien? So we're going to have a few numbers that we're going to be listening to. So I want to go ahead and go through these first and have you think about how you would say these numbers. So go ahead and think about the first one, 454. Think about how you would say that in Español. Remember, you're going to start with the number 4 and add 100 to it. So 400, 400. The word for 50 is 50 y 4. 454. Go ahead and look at the next one, 1,568. Think about how you would say that number. For 1,000, we're going to say 1000. 500 is a little bit different. It's 500, 1500. For 60, we say 60 y 8. 1568. Go ahead and try the next one, 336. You should have come up with 336. 336. How about the next one, 1,764. Remember how to say 1,000? So if you remember, 1,000 is 1000. For 700, it is 700. Kind of sounds like siete, right? A little bit different. 1764. 1764. How about the next one? 1,260. You should have come up with 1260. 1260. Let's go to the second row. 800, think of the word 8 and then add it to 100. 816. 816. Do you remember how to say 900? It's a little bit irregular. Similar to the word nueve, but a little bit different. Think about what that would be. The answer is 980. 980. How about the last one, 1,680? Again, for 1,000, we're going to say 1680. 1680. Okay, so I want you to have a place where you can write down these answers. We're going to listen to unas conversaciones, and the dependiente, who's the salesperson, is going to say how much each item costs. They will go in order. So the first one, we want to figure out cuánto cuesta la camiseta. All of the answers are from the choices that we just went through. Obviously, there's more choices than there are numbers, so there will be a few numbers that we're not going to use. So as you listen, I want you to write down and see how you do. Vamos a ver.
1. La camiseta cuesta 336 pesos. La camiseta cuesta 336 pesos.
2. ¿Cuánto cuesta la blusa? 1,260 pesos. ¿Cuánto cuesta la blusa? 1,260 pesos.
3. El traje de baño solo cuesta 980 pesos. El traje de baño solo cuesta 980 pesos.
4. El suéter cuesta 1.568 pesos. El suéter cuesta 1.568 pesos.
5. ¿Cuánto cuesta el vestido? 1.680 pesos. ¿Cuánto cuesta el vestido? 1.680 pesos.
6. La chaqueta cuesta 1.764 pesos. La chaqueta cuesta 1.764 pesos.
Okay, hopefully that wasn't too hard since I gave you the opciones. So let's go ahead and check what you got. For la camiseta cuesta 336 pesos. ¿Cuánto cuesta la blusa? La blusa cuesta 1.260 pesos. ¿Cuánto cuesta el traje de baño? Cuesta 980 pesos. ¿Cuánto cuesta el suéter? Cuesta 1.568 pesos. ¿Cuánto cuesta el vestido? Cuesta 1.680 pesos. ¿Cuánto cuesta la chaqueta? 1.764 pesos. Bien, so I hope you did okay with those números. Again, if you are struggling remembering the números, it is really at this point just a matter of práctica. Go to any Google search, type números en español, something like that. You can find a lot of websites where you can practicar. Okay, for these next few slides, I really want you to take some good notes. These are not notes that you're going to turn into me, but we are going to be doing an activity during la clase en vivo that will be much easier for you if you have notes, okay? So when we get to the clase en vivo, the more information you have written down, the easier our actividad will be for you to complete, okay? So I recommend you take some good notes over the next few slides. Let's go ahead and look at these palabras here de vocabulario. Vestido, dependiente, quizás, mediano, pijama, se vende, tienda, rebaja, las dos, entrar. If you need to press pause and take a minute to look over those words, this would be a great time to do it. Entonces, what we're going to do is look at some oraciones and figure out which of the words from this lista es más lógico para completar la oración. I'm going to show you one sentence at a time, and I would like you to try to fill in the blank, and then we'll go through and check them. Voy a dormir ahora. Yo llevo. Mi mamá va a una fiesta elegante. Ella lleva un. Necesito comprar ropa. Vamos a una. La persona que trabaja en una tienda es un. En esta tienda, ropa muy bonita. No puedo decidir entre la camisa negra y la camisa azul. Posiblemente voy a comprar. El opuesto de salir es. Un sinónimo de posiblemente es. Hoy hay una en mi tienda favorita. Todo está a $10. Es la talla entre pequeño y grande. Go ahead and press pause and come back as soon as you are done coming up with an answer for each of those oraciones. Ok, vamos a ver qué tal hicieron ustedes. We will actually check these together when we meet for our clase en vivo. Okay, now let's take a look at some questions and think about how we could answer them. If we walk into a store and the dependiente says to us, ¿En qué puedo servirle? This means that the salesperson is asking us how they can help us. So we might want to ask something, tell the salesperson what we're looking for, why we came to that store. If the salesperson, or maybe I'm going to ask the salesperson, ¿Cuánto cuesta? I'm asking how much does it cost? So to answer that question, somebody would give me an amount. ¿Qué talla? What question is this person asking? They're asking what size, small, medium, or large, or un número posiblemente. ¿Cuándo va a haber una rebaja? That word cuando again means when. ¿Cuándo va a haber una rebaja? When will there be a sale? ¿Cómo me queda el vestido? This is at the bottom of your vocab list. If you're out with friends trying on different clothes and you're going to ask, how does this look on me? How does it fit? How does it look? ¿Cómo me queda el vestido? Okay, I'm going to give you a series of answers, and I want you to take a minute to try to figure out which answer matches each question. Again, I mentioned that these are going to be helpful when we come to our clase en vivo, so it would be helpful for you to write down the question and the answer. I'm going to ask that you press pause and come back when you have everything all matched up. Okay, let's go ahead and check what you did. ¿En qué puedo servirle? Busco un vestido nuevo would be an appropriate answer. ¿Cuánto cuesta? 60 euros. ¿Qué talla? Mediano. ¿Cuándo va a haber una rebaja? El sábado. ¿Cómo me queda el vestido? Te queda muy bien. Okay, how did you do with matching those up? Let's move on to something a little bit more completo. Okay, so these are some phrases. If we're going to outline a conversation, so it's going to be a back and a forth between somebody who's shopping and a sales clerk. So these are the 6 lines that the sales clerk is going to, so it's a 12-line conversation. These are the 6 lines that the sales clerk. I want you to spend a minute to read through these oraciones, see if you understand what they are saying. And then I'm going to show you in just a minute the 6 lines of the young person that is out shopping. Then what we're going to do is we're going to try to organize them in an order that makes sense for una conversación. Okay, let's take a look at the 6 oraciones del joven que va de compras. Okay, so for this conversation, I'm going to tell you that we're going to always start our conversations with the sales clerk. So the sales clerk is going to start the conversation and we're going to go back and forth. So of the 6 lines for the dependiente, which of those do you think makes the most sense to be the first line the dependiente would say? Hopefully you said, Buenas tardes, ¿en qué puedo servirle? That would be a logical way that a salesperson might greet you when you walk into a store. Again, this is something that you might want to be writing down because it will help you when we do our actividad en la clase en vivo. When the sales clerk asks you, ¿En qué puedo servirle? Which of the bottom A, B, C, D, E, F phrases might you answer? Hopefully you thought that quiero comprar unos pantalones nuevos would be the best here. That would be a good way to start out your interaction with a sales clerk so that this person knows how to help you. Okay, after you have mentioned quiero comprar unos pantalones nuevos, which one of the remaining ones might the sales clerk use? So I'm going to cross out this one because we know we've used that. I will cross out this one. So what do we have next? After the sales clerk knows that you want some new pants, perhaps knowing what color would be a logical next step. So we'll go ahead and use that one. Once somebody asks you what color, which of these choices would be most logical? I think we can agree that using a color answer would be logical. No sé, quizás negro. Let's go ahead and get rid of that one. Okay. So next, you've already told her or the sales clerk that you want to look at some black pants. So which of these might the sales clerk tell you? You notice the sales clerk answers are going in order. Pues, estos pantalones son muy populares. She's handing you a pair of pants and telling you that these are very popular. What might you respond down below once you see the pants that the sales clerk has shown you? A good answer would be, me gustan. ¿Cuánto cuestan? And the sales clerk would answer, we are going in order if you notice for the sales clerk, solo $50. Let's go ahead and catch up here with our crossing out. Okay. Now, we are hearing that they are $50. How might I respond when I hear, oops, I guess we already used me gusta, cuánto cuesta. I can't cross it out though. It's kind of covered up. There we go. Okay, so I've already found out that they are $50. Which of these two choices might I use to respond? The most logical one would be to say, ese precio es demasiado. This price is too much for me. To which the dependiente can say, hay otros pantalones que no cuestan tanto. There are others that don't cost as much. Entonces, son bonitos. A ver si me quedan bien. Oops, I guess I erased. I crossed out one that we didn't use already. Son bonitos. A ver si me quedan bien. Let's see if they fit me. Creo que le quedan muy bien. Which would lead me to say, entonces voy a comprar estos pantalones. There is a complete conversación. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of my lines here. Now I'm going to give you a blank conversation. And we're going to look at what kind of things we might need to answer in here. So let me get rid of these for you. Okay, so in this conversation, we see all of the lines that the dependiente is giving us. And we need to figure out how you might respond. So the dependiente says, buenos días, ¿en qué puedo servirle? ¿Qué talla busca? ¿Prefieres azul o rojo? Aquí tiene. ¿Puede usted probar? Te queda muy bien. Hoy hay una rebaja, solo 80 euros. So I'm going to give you some hints here. And I'm going to tell you that for this first line, you're going to mention a clothing item that you are looking for. After ¿qué talla busca? You're going to tell the clerk your size. ¿Prefieres azul o rojo? You're going to choose a color. ¿Puede usted probar? Once you've tried it on, you're going to ask the clerk how it looks on you. The clerk will tell you that they look awesome. This is when you need to ask how much it costs. You hear the price, and you will decide whether you want to buy it or not. Okay? So I want you to press pause and come up with each of your answers for each of those spaces, following the guide that I put on here. Okay? Press pause and write out the whole conversación and come back when you're finished. Muy bien, chicos. Vamos a continuar. This conversation goes the exact opposite way. For this conversation, I have given you the lines that you are saying. What's missing is what the clerk will say. So, if you are answering Buenas tardes, busco ropa para una fiesta elegante, we know that the dependiente is going to first greet and ask how he or she can help you. Once you tell the clerk that you are looking for ropa para una fiesta elegante, perhaps the dependiente is going to give you two choices. Things that would be appropriate for a fiesta elegante. Aquí tú dices, prefiero una falda y blusa. If we look ahead, you are answering mediano. Therefore, we know that the dependiente is going to ask you what size. Mediano, por favor. So, then the dependiente is going to tell you how you look after you've tried it on. At which point you are going to ask, ¿cuánto cuestan? The way that a dependiente will answer ¿cuánto cuestan? Is by giving you a price. You can pick any country, any monetary unit that you would like. Perhaps you think the price es demasiado, it's too much. Uf, es demasiado. ¿Cuándo van a tener una rebaja? You're trying to find out when there will be a sale. So the dependiente will tell you when there will be a sale. And then you say gracias. Quizás yo voy a volver el sábado. Again, I would like you to press pause and work on this complete conversación, filling in the blanks of what the dependiente would say based on these guides. Come back and press play when you are finished. Muy bien, chicos. So you have written out several complete conversations. I want you to be sure to have those with you. And I want to review something quickly with you. If you remember, a little while back, we were talking about this verb poder, to say that I can do something. We said, yo puedo. Tú puedes. Él puede. Nosotros podemos. Vosotros podéis. Y ellos pueden. Remember that I highlighted for you that it looks like a bota. Okay? We can think of also that nasty nosotros, vicious vosotros. We don't want to change those because they're nasty and vicious. Everything inside the bota is able to change. In this case, our O in poder is changing to UE. Yo puedo. Another verb that we looked at that was like this was dormir. The O is also changing to UE. Duermo. Duermes. Duerme. Remember, nasty nosotros does not change. Dormimos. Vicious vosotros does not change. Dormís. And ellos duermen. Bota. Everything inside the bota has a change. So based on this pattern, if I tell you that the verb pensar, the E in pensar becomes IE, you should be able to figure out what the different forms are. Let me show them to you. Pienso. Piensas. Piensa. Remember, nasty nosotros does not change. Pensamos. Vicious vosotros does not change. Pensáis. Piensan. We're back with our bota. Yo pienso, I think or I plan. Pienso nadar luego. I plan to swim later. Pienso comprar un vestido nuevo. I plan to buy a new dress. Pienso que los zapatos blancos son más bonitos que los zapatos rojos. That would be a way you could use that when you're shopping. Preferir means to prefer. So in an earlier conversation, I mentioned to the dependiente that I prefer a skirt and a shirt. This first E is the one that is going to change. Becomes IE. Prefiero. Sorry, it's the second E. I should fix that. The second E is the one that changes, not the first E. Prefieres. Prefiere. Nasty, nosotros preferimos. Vicious, vosotros preferéis. And prefieren. The bota. When you're shopping, somebody might ask you, ¿cuál camisa prefieres? Prefiero la camisa amarilla. One more verb that works like this is querer. Get rid of this for you. Querer means to want. Again, the E becomes IE. Quiero. Quieres. Quiere. Queremos. Queréis. Quieren. Bota. Everything inside the bota has a change. Somebody might ask you, ¿quieres comprar los pantalones? No, gracias. Cuestan demasiado. They cost too much. Okay, let's go ahead and take a minute and see if we can choose which one is the most logical. You don't need to write these down. Let's just read them out together. Yo, hopefully you chose quiero. Say the word out loud that you are choosing. Ella prefiere los pantalones cortos a la falda. Nosotros preferimos ir de compras en una tienda grande. Ellos piensan comprar 2 abrigos nuevos. Tú y yo pensamos buscar una tienda con precios buenos. Ustedes quieren hablar con la dependienta. Nosotros queremos entrar en la tienda de ropa. Tú y yo no pensamos comprar ropa hoy. Okay, I want you to go ahead and press pause here, and on a paper, I want you to write out what you think the form of the verb should be based on this sentence. You just need to write out the form. Press pause, come back when you're finished. Okay, let's go ahead and check these. Elena piensa comprar una sudadera. Sandra y yo queremos ir a una tienda de ropa grande. Yo prefiero hablar con un dependiente. Nosotras pensamos que es un precio bueno. Tú quieres entrar en una tienda de ropa grande. Tú y yo queremos comprar unas camisetas nuevas. Tomás y Sebastián prefieren no comprar ropa hoy. Yo pienso comprar una gorra y un suéter. Okay. I want to just review a few ways that you can answer this question. ¿En qué puedo servirle? You might answer, quiero comprar, or busco, or pienso comprar, or me gustaría comprar. Those are different ways you could answer that question. When you ask, ¿cómo me queda? How does it look on me, or how does it fit? You can answer, ¿te queda bien? ¿No te queda bien? ¿Te ves muy bonita? ¿Qué guapo estás? If somebody asks cuánto cuesta or cuánto cuestan, the logical answer is cuesta a certain number of pesos, euros, soles, something like that. They might tell you that it's on sale, está en rebaja. No es demasiado, it's not too much. Or posiblemente los dos por a certain amount of money. Maybe 2 for a certain amount of money. Los dos. Okay, so antes de la clase en vivo, I want you to be sure that you are comfortable with those conversaciones So if you need to go back at any part of the video and write down parts of the conversaciones, I definitely recommend you do that. And then I also have posted for you in our Google Classroom under Tarea, under the last section, there's a prueba that takes you to the textbook website where you're going to practice pensar, preferir, and querer. Remember where the E becomes IE, E becomes IE, E becomes IE. Okay, so you're going to finish this prueba, and then I also want you to be sure to have your notes about the conversaciones so that we are going to work on a conversación during our clase en vivo. Excelente, chicos. Buena suerte on this prueba, and I will see you muy pronto en la clase en vivo.